You are currently trapped in a waking trance. You spend your days absorbing an endless stream of data, completely cut off from the physical reality of the body you inhabit. You probably know the exact battery percentage of the phone in your pocket right now. You know its memory capacity, its screen resolution, and its processing speed. But if I asked you what your resting heart rate is, or the baseline rhythm of your own breath, you might draw a blank. We commit the exact specifications of a piece of plastic that will be obsolete in 12 months to memory, yet we know almost nothing about the permanent biological temple we will live inside for an entire century. Pouring all of your attention outward creates a severe cognitive blind spot. When you abandon the internal awareness of your own body, you leave the door wide open for external voices to step in and dictate what is true about your health. When you stop listening to your own body, you lose your ability to verify your own health through intuition or feeling. This silence leaves a vacuum that an external system fills with its own definitions, making you entirely dependent on a lab report to tell you if you are well. Consider the architecture of a false confession. When investigators want an innocent person to admit to a crime, they rarely use physical force. Instead, they use a psychological technique called induction. They isolate the subject in an unfamiliar room and systematically strip away their comfort. Now map that exact process onto your average clinic visit. The sterile, windowless exam room functions precisely like the isolation cell. The crisp white coat serves as the unquestionable badge of authority. And then comes the decisive moment. The authority figure drops a printed lab report onto the table. It works exactly like a detective slamming down a folder of supposed evidence to break an exhausted suspect's will. The medical-industrial complex relies on this engineered power dynamic. The environment itself is designed to bypass your critical thinking, ensuring you surrender your bodily autonomy before a single diagnosis is even spoken. The criteria used to define you as sick are based on what the industry calls reference ranges. These are not immutable laws of biology. They are moving targets, frequently adjusted by corporate boards to capture a wider net of patients. A raw biometric number is inherently neutral. It only becomes alarming when boxed in with harsh red lines. Once handed this official mathematical proof, the mind ceases to fight. The restrictions multiply into a grid, becoming your absolute reality. This triggers a documented biological phenomenon called the nocebo effect. Because you are highly self-aware, your brain translates the doctor's negative suggestion into physical reality. Your belief in the illness actively manifests the symptoms. By weaponizing your own self-awareness, the system achieves its goal. It converts a sovereign, self-regulating human being into a lifelong consumer, generating a steady annuity for a profit-driven industry. It is time to look away from the screens and plunge beneath the skin. Right now, inside of you, lies an ancient, undefeated empire composed of roughly 38 trillion living entities. This internal network operates on a masterpiece of bottom-up intelligence. The millions of micro-decisions your biology makes every second outsmart the top-down systems attempting to categorize and medicate it. Every single second, your immune system is executing literal acts of heroism. Your white blood cells function as a highly trained front line, rushing fearlessly into biological fires and engulfing invaders to protect a host. When a cell becomes damaged beyond repair, it utilizes a mechanism called apoptosis. This is programmed cellular suicide. The individual cell willingly breaks itself down, sacrificing its own existence to ensure the survival of your larger body. This precise biological reality is an act of unconditional loyalty. You are the commander of a relentless internal army, fighting a war for your survival every single day. Animals in the wild do not worry themselves into chronic illness. They do not obsess over arbitrary statistics. They simply live truthfully within the physical mechanics of their own biology. Your self-awareness was used as a backdoor to install fear, but that same conscious awareness is also the singular tool capable of making your body whole again. You have the agency to explicitly reject the clinical fear. You can choose to place your trust in the architecture of your own physical temple. The antigen is the sovereign individual. You are the primary architect of your own biological state. Awaken to your own biological sovereignty. Take back your power from a system that profits from your surrender, and allow your body to do exactly what it was